Hey everybody, it's Tony from Appalachian Dual Sport, and I'm on another well, it's not even dual sport related, but I just decided to do a short video on the installation of my Chinese 3,000 pound ATV winch. Got it quite some time ago, just haven't had a chance to install it, and honestly I can't even remember how it was advertised on eBay, but comes with the instructions, the winch, the control box, in-out switch, the roller, little mounting plate, which I was actually surprised that was in there, just some other brackets, doohickeys, the hook, and it's funny that in this instruction set it doesn't even tell you what company this is. It just says, thank you for buying this winch from our company. So it's almost like these are just generic winch installation instructions that were drafted up for every one of these cheap Chinese winches. But anyway, this is a 3,000 pound winch. Doesn't look too bad. It says electric winch, model 3,000 pounds, serial number none. So anyway, yeah, we'll just we'll get this baby hooked up and see how she does. There's no brand name or anything at all on it anywhere, so that is kind of funny. It came in this priority mailbox. It was all stuffed in there. It came from Omaha, Nebraska, but I think I bought it from a specific company selling these. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm flipping through the instruction book, and I get to the part where it's talking about installing the actual winch to the vehicle, and apparently this plate is some kind of supposed trailer hitch mounting plate, and then they talk about permanently attaching the winch to your vehicle, and then it refers to some diagrams, but there's absolutely no diagrams in this instruction manual other than the wiring, how they showed to hook up the wiring. These are the only diagrams in this manual, so this manual isn't going to be a hell of a lot of help. So as you can see, there's basically two bolt holes for attaching this winch. Now this is a 3,000 pound winch, and considering cheap Chinese hardware, is this actually going to hold if you're really torquing 3,000 pounds trying to pull a stuck vehicle out of the mud or something? It's going on my Kawasaki Tyrex over there, so it's not super heavy, but I'm just a little worried about just a simple 2-bolt mounting setup. But once again, we'll see how it goes. So my Teryx came with this bumper on it when I bought it used, and I don't know if this is factory, but anyway, it has a mounting plate already on it. So I'm going to see if these winch holes, bolt holes, line up when I slide it in here. See if I can just use the stock mounting plate and see what I can do. Okay, so as things go, the 2 bolt holes already drilled into the winch do not line up with the bolt holes in the Kawasaki plate. These holes here are just spaced too close together. Probably gonna have to drill through the plate, or I'm gonna have to get out that other mounting plate and see if it'll line up. Okay, so this plate that they were talking about, they said it was the hitch plate. I don't think it is. It's a plate that the roller attached to. I figured that one out when I started messing with it, but I don't know, maybe it's still meant to mount to a hitch. I don't know, but either way, I'm going to use this plate. I'm going to mount this plate to my bumper here, and then I'm going to mount the hitch, or the winch, to the plate. It's going to take some extra drilling and stuff, but I think in the end it'll be worth it. So, plus I needed to raise it up a little bit because this guard that I had to take off was rubbing up against my this roller assembly, so I might need to do some trimming still. But anyway, I'm going to get this thing on. Okay, so I had to remove this skid plate from underneath the Teryx. I think this is a full-length slide plate, skid plate, whatever you want to call it. And then I had to drill up from underneath because there was no room to get my drill motor in here. to drill down because it's banging up against everything. Anyway, got the 4 holes drilled, got these 2 holes drilled, so I'm just going to bolt this sucker down and go from there. Okay, so I got 1 bolt on the back of the winch, so it still moves like this. But as you can see, this is the clearance problem I was talking about. This terminal here is going to bang up against the frame. It is going to barely clear when I get this final bolt in. Remember, there's only 2 bolts holding this thing onto the plate. So luckily, I think this is the ground terminal, so even if it does make contact with the frame here, it shouldn't be an issue. I plan on getting the electronics, the wire hooked up first, then I'll bolt this down, so I don't have any issues getting this on and off. Otherwise, I'll probably just wrap it real well in some electrical tape, or maybe even some liquid electrical tape, just so that this doesn't come in contact. It shouldn't, obviously, because I don't think it has that kind of flex, but anyway, that's the only issue here, the way that this thing's set up. But anyway, I guess we'll just go from there. Okay, I was talking there for a while before I realized that the start button wasn't going on the recorder. So they make this thing pretty idiot proof. This is the relay box. These 2 short leads, they say it right on the side, stop. Attach the short leads to the motor body, the long wires to the battery, and your switch runs into the cab. That's basically it. Not much to it. So the only thing I noticed was wrong was they gave me this bracket right here, and there's only 1, but it looks like this box is set up for 2. That bracket slides right up in here, and then it just clamps down on top of the motor body. But if anything, I'll just zip tie it if it moves around. Anyway, I'm gonna get this little strap is on. It was a bit of a pain in the rear just to get it slid over the body of the electric motor, and then to get into these little hooks it has under here. It's got hooks under here and hooks under here, and slid it under this one, and as it moved, of course, it would constantly pop loose, but I finally got it tightened down. Not really sure about, this whole thing. One thing I noticed that I just obviously don't like is that these electrical terminals are completely exposed to the elements, and there's no instructions or anything on covering them or making sure that they're weather tight. But these are going to corrode, and then that's going to ruin your electrical connection to your winch, and it's going to possibly lose power, I guess, or it could, depending on how corroded that was. But I'll probably try to do something about that. I hope this little electrical box of theirs is watertight, because a ton of water is just going to splash up on it. So as you're driving through mud holes and all that stuff, so it might even be completely submerged. So, but this is where it's supposed to mount. So I hope it's waterproof. So anyway, we'll find out. Again, I might have to post a long-term review of this winch, but as far as things go, I'm a little worried about that, but we'll see. The final little thing I stuck on here is this hook, this handy dandy little orange flags attached to it, and see the angle that it's at. It won't, this buckle here is bowed out enough that this part won't slide through it, so I suspect with some age and use, maybe this will straighten it out once it bends this in. But right now it's kind of stuck at this angle, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to let this run, like if I'm going to bring it up here and hook it onto something, or just have it pull back in so it's just sticking out. I don't know, but anyway, just want it to work, so still working on that part. So on my Teryx, they provide you with way more cabling, electrical wiring than you need for my application, at least. So what I got to do is just figure out the routing, and then I'm just going to come in here. I'm probably just going to go to this chassis ground here with everything else and just directly hook to my my positive side of the battery. I've just got one extra thing hooked in there, which is a horn, so that's no big deal. So yeah, I'm just gonna hook in. Got to figure out where to run the switch to. I'm not gonna run it over the windshield like this, but just got to figure out where I want to mount it. I might mount it just over there to the pillar, so that I can drive, steer, and use the remote to operate the winch. But anyway, this is a pretty simple matter of just zip tying these leads to something safe so it doesn't get in the way of the suspension or anything moving or any fan or anything like that. It's pretty obvious stuff. So yeah, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna run it maybe directly up here along this piece and over into the battery. And then, well, I got a zip tie here, maybe out of the way of the suspension on the other side of this these frame members, on the other side away from the suspension action, and then into the battery. So pretty simple. Okay, so I did a real preliminary hookup of my electrical system, and we'll see. We're gonna take her in, take her out. We're gonna take her in. Oh, you know what? I have the clutch disengaged. Oops. Alright, I'm gonna screw this on tight. I might have stripped that. There we go. Clutch in. Take her in. Alright, it works. So at least it's working, right? Makes a lot of noise. So yeah, it makes a lot of noise, but working. So take her out on the trail and see what happens.